Hey everybody! In today's video, I am going to show you a super fun spin on a shaving cream technique that creates beautiful water or galaxy backgrounds with a lot of fun texture. I discovered this technique by accident and it's one of my favorites. I love shaving cream, as you know. I think I have several shaving cream videos. But you can see this background has a lot of texture and looks really different from the traditional shaving cream background, and that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm working with the Inner Mermaid release from Hutson. This is so cute. It's designed by Julie Ebersole. There's also a Unicorns and Rainbow card that I will show you at the end of the video, and then the Pure Magic sentiments that actually go with both of these sets, which is brilliant. And then a fun rainbow slider die by Julie. Now, at one of my retreats, I was doing the stenciling shaving cream technique, which I will link you to. That's an update to the shaving cream technique of the 90s. And I was teaching my retreat people that. And then, day turned into night. And we moved on to wine and fellowship, and we left our plates of shaving cream sitting on one of the tables. So as I went to clean up before I went to bed at, 3 in the morning, I noticed that the shaving cream had sort of changed appearance on the plates. It became sort of bubbly and textured. And so, of course, I had to make a print with it there all by myself in the retreat room, and that's how this technique was born. I'm starting with Blueprint Sketch Distress Reinker. Any dye reinker will work, so just whatever you have for your ink pads. And I'm doing Peacock Feathers, Tumbled Glass, and Blueprint Sketch for this background. A range of blues is really nice. For water, you can add black if you want galaxy, so add a bunch of bright colors and then do black. And it starts just like the normal shaving cream technique that we all learned decades and decades ago. I love the way any iteration of this technique looks, but I really like this one. So what you do is you just marble the reinkers just like normal. I'm using a manicure stick. And the difference is, the next ingredient is patience, because you have to let this sit for 5 or 6 hours to achieve this technique. So you're going to put this away on a table somewhere so your pet doesn't step into it. And then I will watercolor this mermaid tail while we wait. So I'm stamping this in VersaFine Clair ink. I love this ink. It's perfect for watercolor. And I had just the right amount of open white space to stamp my sentiment in. And this is from the Inner Mermaid set again, and I'm stamping that in VersaFine Clair. You'll notice I rarely have to stamp twice with VersaFine Clair. It's such a great ink. Now I'm using Daniel Smith watercolor to paint my mermaid tail. And I'm just using a few colors. I'll use Phthalo Blue green shade. I will use Quinacridone purple. And I apologize for my voice. We have Saharan dust that has blown into Texas and it's killing my throat. So sorry about that. What I'm doing to blend the colors is I just get the tail wet and then drop the color in, and then it does self-blending for me. If you're asking yourself, why is there Saharan desert in Texas? Believe me, we all are too. This dust blows in from Africa. Not annually, but every couple of years, and it is quite horrific. I feel sorry for the people who deal with this dust in Africa all the time, because when it gets here, it's god-awful. So we are all croaking, trying not to go outside, but even inside, it gets into your throat. So that's why I'm croaky. Now, when I add the purple, you'll see how magical that is. Even with the lime green ink, that purple is so vibrant and pretty. Quinacridone everything is awesome, but quinacridone purple is such a beautiful color. So I'll use that just as an accent. This is going to be a sort of fanciful watercolor. Not really accurate, because how do you paint a mermaid accurately? Who among us has seen a mermaid? So what I'm going to do is add some detail to the scales, but not all over. I don't want this to be regular. At first, I started with permanent green light, and it was too close to the ink color, so it didn't really work. So I'm going back with phthalo turquoise, which is another one of my favorite colors. And I'm just going to outline a couple of these little scales on her tail, just so that you can see the detail of this beautiful image, but not so it's super regular. Also, the entire scene will sort of look like it's underwater, because you'll have parts of the images really highlighted and parts of them obscured. So that's kind of my thought process there. I'll add a little bit of phthalo turquoise to the little lines in her tail. And remember that every time you're working with watercolor, it will dry a little bit lighter than you've painted it on. So don't be afraid to use darker colors, because you'll need that shading when the paper dries. Now, I do also have to shimmer her tail up, so I'm using a Nuvo shimmer pen after I add some white gel pen highlights to give a little sparkle on that tail. So now let's fast forward 6 hours back to our shaving cream, and I want to show you what the surface of this looks like after it's sat for 6 hours. See how it's not smooth anymore? And all those little bubbles that you see make for the amazing texture in the final result. So you just want your paper to make contact with the shaving cream everywhere, just like in shaving cream marbling. And when you pull it off, you can see the little granular detail that I'm talking about. It's so fun and addicting. Now, because these dyes are very strongly colored, you will be able to get several prints. But with this particular shaving cream technique, once the dye inks are all blended again on the surface of the shaving cream, it will eliminate those little bubbles that make this technique really work. This one's fun. Look at that texture. It looks like foam in the ocean. And so once they mix and it's smooth again, you will lose some of that detail. But you can get 5 or 6 really cool looking prints. And what I do after these are done is I just let the shaving cream dry a little bit, and then I wipe it off. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of smearing, but not much. It's fine. It's not a perfect sort of look you're going for anyway. I did it there on some embossed brick cardstock, just to pick it up, give it sort of a grunge graffiti look on top of those bricks that I can use for something future. And now you can see the mixing I'm talking about, where it's very smooth. So that is still really pretty. It's just a different technique. So this is what it looks like as a background. I love this. I hope you do too. And head over to my blog to see the other cute projects with this fun Ellen Hutson Julie Ebersole release. Thanks so much for watching.